Just turning my noise on here. Mark, can you hear me? I'm hoping we're all good. I'm going to take that as a yes. Let's get started in child's pose. Knees super wide, toes come to touch. Go ahead and take yourself long on your mat right away. So press your hips all the way back toward the back of your mat. Reach your fingertips out all the way to the front of your mat. Yeah, now start to build your breath. Full breath in, noticing the pause at the very tippy top. With a full breath out, notice the pause at the very bottom at empty. Yeah, and then keep building just like that in volume, both the volume that you can hear and the volume of the breath that's flowing in and out. You can become a little bit wider here on your mat. Take your hands all the way out toward the side. Take your knees out a little bit wider and let your chest fall down toward the mat. Like really get integrated here. Press your fingers down on the tops of your feet. One more big inhale. Exhale it out. Press back downward facing dog. Create movement here, maybe bending one knee and then the other, taking your hips side to side. Creating movement in a way that feels good to you. Creating movement in a way that you're going to be ready to move. Let's get the synovial fluid kind of moving around in your joints, everything lubed and ready, the quality of water. One more big breath here. Lift your heels all the way to the ceiling. Exhale, lower them down to the floor. Move feet to hands. Halfway lift at the top, create a long flat spine and fold. Yeah, big old forward fold. Little bend in the knees, big bend in the knees, maybe a sway side to side, whatever feels good here. In my practice, in my first couple forward folds, I like to take my heels just a little bit wider, really opens up kind of the back of the lumbar spine. On your next inhale, ragdoll, pull the pit of your belly all the way up and in, big C-shaped curve in your back, and let your head drop here. Yeah, that was a really enthusiastic head drop. I think this is probably the first time you guys have dropped your heads today. Now is a great time to do it. Let everything round, get really fluid in the joints. Now press down through your feet, big toe mounds, heels. On an inhale, rise all the way to stand. Extended mountain, reach for the ceiling. Hands come to heart center. Here is your opportunity to decide what you're getting out of your next 60 minutes. Make it big. I am courageous, I am present, I am something that is going to keep you motivated to stay focused. And we'll seal those intentions with 3 ohms together. Full breath in. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long flat spine, and fold, let it go. Inhale, extended mountain, gaze up, look up, fold. Halfway lift, fill your lungs, and fold. Just making movement with breath here. Inhale, extended mountain, reach in and up. And fold, empty out all the way to the bottom. Halfway lift, fill up, step back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Exhale it out. 2 more together. Fill and empty. Lift your heels to the ceiling. Empty out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Maybe a baby back bend at the top. Pull your shoulders straight back. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Feel the pause. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. 2 more. Fill up. Empty out. Last one. Prepare. Exhale. Move forward on empty. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Gaze up. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Find your pause where your elbows are at 90. Nice. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. 2 more here. Last one. Fill. Blow it out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sit down. Look up between your fingers and fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Press your feet down. Inhale as you rise. Chaturanga. Upward facing fill. Downward facing empty. Left side. Inhale up. Chaturanga on the exhale. Yeah, you move with your pace. Up dog. Down dog. Your pace is your breath. My pace is simply a suggestion. You make all the decisions. This is your last exhale. Move forward, feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, right side. Inhale, rise, reach for the pause. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Reach all the way up through your fingertips. Look up. Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. 2 more. Find some flow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prepare. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sink down. Knees at 90. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, right side warrior one. Big toe mounds press down, center of your chest to the ceiling. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Reach for the pause. Nice. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. Expel it out. Lift your right leg up behind you. Extend the whole leg here. So as long as you can get from your glute all the way to your lifted heel, dial those toes down towards your mat. Yes, so your heel is pointed straight up toward the ceiling. Bend your knee. Now open the hip. Stay here or flip your dog. Feet on 12 o'clock right away. Bring your knees as close together as like hips width distance, maybe just slightly wider. Nice adjustments. Breathe in, lift your chest to the ceiling. Soft drishti past your fingertips. 1 more inhale. Both hands down, side plank, right side. Press down through all four corners of your hand. So much that you may start to feel your armpit hollow out a little. Yeah, you've got everything turned on. Press your bottom foot down, lift your top foot up. One more breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, lift your shoulders. Downward facing dog, breath in. Exhale it out. Lift your left leg up behind you. Press through your heel. Now dial those toes down. So the left hip starts to also dial down. You've got both of those bony ASIS points facing toward the mat. Very nice. Bend your knee, open it up, stay here or flip your dog. Feet where they need to be right away all across the room. Great job. Press your hips up. Take your gaze past your fingertips. Is there a little back bend hiding right between your shoulders? Can your gaze come toward the front of the room? Nice. One more breath. Both hands down, side plank, left arm down. Press down through your hand. Lift your hips another inch. You know, if those heels are together, open them up just a little bit. If the top leg's gonna lift, go for it. One more breath right here. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Empty out. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. Come down right away to 90 degrees in that front knee. Yeah, and then feel for, maybe even look for your back heel to be balanced right over top of the ball of your foot. And every one of us can come down just a little bit more. One more big breath here to lengthen. Hands to heart center, twist to your right. Yeah, and reorganize the breath here. I know in twists for me, my breath tends to stay at the top of my chest. Can you pull it down around the sides of your ribs, maybe even down towards your belly? Breath in to lengthen. Breath out to twist. Back to crescent lunge. Warrior two. Stay low in that front knee. And then take your feet as wide apart as they can go to where you feel like you still got a good base underneath of you, like you can press down into the floor. Nice. Lift the front of the pelvis up toward the belly button. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Reach behind you toward the back of the room. Extended side angle. Bring your fingertips down to the arch of your front foot, to a block, or maybe all the way down to a mat. And then notice your extended side angle here. What I see across the room and what happens for me is that my knee ends up a little bit behind the ankle here. So see if you can shift a little bit of weight forward to bring the knee right over top of the ankle. Nice. Last breath here, reach both arms forward to the front of the room like you've got a big beach ball at the top of your mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Lion's breath out. Stick out your tongue. One more like that, Phil. Stick out your tongue and empty. Step your left foot forward, crescent lunge. And then same setup here. Set your feet, come down low right away. Take your awareness, your proprioception back to that back foot. Just notice what's going on. Maybe even look. One more breath here to lengthen through both sides of the body. Hands to heart center, twist to your left. Vinyasa with the breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Press your hands into heart center to expand your chest and upper back. And if your hands are staying at center, bring your thumbs closer to your chest to really open One more breath in. Twist it out. Back to crescent lunge. Warrior two. Give that front leg a break if it needs one, and then come right back down. Nice. Really reach through both sets of fingertips like there's people pulling you apart on both sides. Shoulders stack right over your hips. Nice adjustments. Reverse your warrior, flip your front palm, reach for the back of your mat. Extended side angle. Fingertips down towards your front arch. Press down in your back foot so much that it feels like it's launching your pose forward. Last breath here, reach both arms forward. One inhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breath in, empty it out. Move feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose, sit and stay. Little tiny kids chair, so sit even lower. And now right here where you're at your lowest, lift the front of the pelvis up toward the belly button. So we're gonna, in essence, send this tailbone all the way down toward the floor. Nice adjustment. So now you're back in one straight line. Reach up, look up, and fold. Fingers to toes, forward fold. Take your peace fingers around your big toes. Drop the head. Little bend in your knees and send your sit bones up to the ceiling. Should feel a real nice stretch here in your hammies. Release your feet, chair pose. Inhale, reach up. Hands to heart center, twist to the right on your exhale. Inhale, open your arms. Exhale, twist a little more. Inhale, back to chair. Hands to heart center, twist to the left. Stay low, inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back to chair. One more on each side, twist to the right. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist a little more. Back to chair. Twist to the left. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Back to chair, sit even lower. And fold, palms to toes forward, fold, gorilla pose. Knees bend a whole lot here. Yeah, so you can really turn on those muscles in the backs of your legs to extend and press yourself up toward the ceiling. Release your feet, crow pose. Crow goddess, if you want to take this to another inversion, go for it. So crow looks like taking our hands to the floor. They are now our feet. Wrists parallel to the front of your mat. Yeah, and then whether you're in crow or goddess here, press out with your elbows. Pull in with your knees. Stay long and lifted for one more breath. Very nice. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Clear it out. Move to the top of your mat, feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain, reach up, look up. Eagle pose, right arm under, right leg over, have a little seat. Choose your drishti, your focus, one spot in front of you. Something specific that you could name here. Yeah, put in and keep present your Ujjayi breath. Drishti stays where it is, switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Incredible focus. I'm trying to stay out of all of your drishtis. Sit even lower if you can. And release. Standing leg raise, right side. Grab for the knee or a toe. And we'll start here at center. Place your hand on your thigh and press down. And then with your thigh, lift back up. Okay, so you've got a little bit of tension there. Flex the foot. Keep that tension as you open to the right. Gaze moves to the left. I find with that little extra bit of work there, it's a little bit easier for me on the balance here. Bring it all back to center. Send your foot straight back, airplane. Press back through your lifted heel. Little tiny bend in that knee. Yep. Open up, half moon. Great spot for fingertips on a block to bring the floor a little bit closer. And then once you're set up here, place your drishti, one specific spot that you could name. Press back through your heels so much that it lifts another inch or two. Replace both feet to the ground, shake the head out. And rise all the way to stand. Standing leg raise on your left. We'll start in the center here in the same way. So place your palm on the top of your thigh, press down while lifting your thigh. Keep that tension, open up to the left. Gaze moves slowly to the right. Airplane, bring it back to center, press your left foot straight back. Dial those 5 toes down toward the mat to close the left hip. Keep that present, open up half moon. Keeping the little bend in the standing knee. And then reach from fingertip to fingertip. How much space can you create here? Get as big as you can. Last breath. Both feet to the ground. Shake it out. On an inhale, rise all the way to stand, extended mountain, dancer or standing bow on your right. Catch the inside of your right ankle, soft part of your elbow facing out. Nice, and thumb to the ceiling. Send the center of your chest forward, like you've got a flashlight right in the middle, and you want to shine it toward the front of your mat. Take your gaze to where that flashlight is going. Drishti stays. Switch sides. Yeah, take this to your dancer, right? To the place where you get in this pose and you say, this is my dancer. Now turn that lifted knee down toward the mat. Yeah, it makes the dancer a little bit shorter for most of us. But that's where we want to be. That's where we can get the most length all the way up the back. One more breath in. Both feet to the mat. Nice tree pose, right side. Place your foot above or below the knee. And then press in. Foot into your knee, your leg, and leg into your foot. And you'll start to feel that automatic pelvic tilt, the front of the pelvis lifting up toward the sternum. Use that lift to get even taller. Nice. One more breath. Switch sides. Create your center line. Press the foot in, press the leg into center, and then express. You choose an arm variation, something that makes you feel big and proud, something that makes you feel sturdy and stable and grounded. 2 more breaths. Both feet to the mat. Inhale, extended mountain at the top. Reach up, look up, and fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or hop back or go straight back to down dog, your choice. Up dog, downward facing. Step your right foot forward, create triangle pose. Take up all the space you can, front of your mat to the back of your mat. Little tiny micro bend in your front knee. Yeah, and if it's just real easy, kind of locks out like that, lift your toes while you've got the knee bent. And for me, sometimes that gives my knee an indicator that like, hey, I need to stay in this position. Side facing wide leg forward fold, 10 toes to the left side of your mat. And yogi's choice here, if getting upside down right here is what makes your practice feel like your own, go for it. Some lunges side to side would feel nice on the inner thighs. Maybe we're feeling a bit tight today. Go for it. Tune in. See what the body wants to have. And that's not necessarily a vocabulary that we always have in the beginning of our yoga practice. So maybe just go through the whole gamut of options. Take a few lunges, take a few twists, see what feels good, and do that thing. Get even in your side-to-side movements. And then once you've arrived back at center, use an inhale to rise all the way to stand. Namaste, front-facing forward fold, or yogi splits. You choose where you're working today. So namaste, front-facing forward fold is just that little warrior one. Grab your bind and hinge forward. Sometimes the feet here can be a little bit tricky. So can we press down the heels of both feet? Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be, where you can press down. And then it doesn't matter how far forward you can hinge. We want to keep the hips level and just see kind of what the mobility is right there. Nice, lift your shoulders all the way toward the ceiling. Now twist your triangle. Right arm. No, you're right. Left arm comes down toward the mat. My goodness, we're all facing different directions. Perfect. Reach all the way up. Create so much space from fingertip to fingertip that you feel your shoulders creating space between each other. Last big breath, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, breathe in. Downward facing dog, exhale. Step your left foot forward, triangle pose. Yeah, create so much length here on both sides of the body. You might start to feel on your inhales that oblique on the left side kind of light up in order to keep you lifted. Yeah, that's exactly where we want to be. Press down. Side facing wide leg forward fold. Opportunity here for another inversion or maybe taking a bind behind the back. Keep the bend in your knees. And then let your shoulders and your arms reach all the way over your head, down toward the floor. And you guys are all little bendy flexy, so go ahead and bend your elbows here as well to give your shoulders a bit more room to open. Yeah. On an inhale, press down, rise up, namaste, front-facing forward fold. Or yogi splits, mini warrior one. Take your bind and hinge forward. And your feet may be in a totally different alignment on this side. So make sure you can press down through your heels. If that's not so in the back foot, take a slightly shorter stance. Sometimes I like to take this one where I'm just kind of leaning forward and then I lift the back foot, place my hips at center, and then just kind of see where it lands. It's almost like getting into the pose backwards, but it gets my feet where they need to be. Pull the jawbone straight back towards your neck. Lengthen your cervical spine. Nice. Now from here, with all that length on both sides, twist your triangle. So this time, the right arm comes down, left arm to a T or toward the ceiling. Maybe the gaze follows the fingertips toward the ceiling, but only as far as is comfortable for the neck. One more breath. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Roll yourself all the way out to a high plank. Yeah, now right here, lift your belly button up toward the ceiling. Retract your shoulders onto your back. Lift the front of your pelvis up towards your belly button. You've got this. One more breath. Slowly lower all the way down to the floor. And when you get there, hips down, locust pose. Reach your fingertips all the way back towards your heels, shoulders lifted. And right here, pull your belly button to your spine, almost like your belly button no longer wants to touch the mat. Yeah, it's going to really support your low back. One more breath. Lower down, right cheek to the mat, windshield wiper your feet back and forth. And now locust pose number 2. Press your hips down on an inhale, rise. Oh, I love that. Yeah, reaching forward, a little bit of extra work for the shoulders. Bunch of super people in this room. 2 more breaths right here. Press through your feet. One more. Lower down. Opposite cheek to the mat, windshield wiper your feet. Floor bow. We'll do one tonight, so go ahead and grab both of your ankles on the outsides or the insides, your choice. Squeeze your knees together at center. Now press your shins back. Yeah, flex those feet at the top so the soles of your feet are facing the ceiling. Now press them up like you want to leave a footprint up there, way up there on one of the pipes. Last big breath. Lower all the way down. Bring your ankles together and take big circles one way and then the other. Kind of massage out the top of your quads. Place your hands at your lowest ribs. And on an inhale, upward facing dog. Lift your thighs off the floor. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Exhale it out. We've got one camel. Bring your knees to the mat. And then set yourself up here. Shoulders over hips, hips over knees. Hands in your back pockets. And lift your chest all the way up toward the ceiling. Maybe it feels good here to tuck the chin and then allow the head to drop back. Use the heel of your hands here, pressing into your sacrum to retract your shoulders onto your back. Very nice. Drishti on one spot. On an inhale, rise up and out. Sit back on your heels for high hero. We'll tuck the toes under. Give them a little stretch. If the baby toe's not touching the mat, go ahead and reach for it. Get them involved. Sway the hips one side and then the other. Just wake up the feet a little more. And then we'll untuck the toes. And from here, lift one knee and then the other. What we're aiming for is just kind of stretching out the tops of the feet. Sometimes my knees love this. Sometimes my feet hate this. So just see what's present in your body. Maybe lift both knees, see how the toes like that. And then bring the feet all the way around. We'll set up for bridge pose. So flat on your back, knees to the ceiling. Set your feet at hips width distance. And then you want your heels to be directly under your knees. Press down, inhale, rise up. Lift your hips, bridge number 1. Bring your feet parallel here. Nice adjustments. One more breath. Lower all the way down. Breath in together and out together. Lift up, bridge number 2. Option here to take a bind behind your back, down along your mat. Yeah, interlace the fingers, press your knuckles towards your heels. One more breath. Lower all the way down. You've got 4 more back bends here in igniting. Bridge or wheel, you decide where you're gonna go. Set your hands on an inhale, rise. Stay in your bridge or wheel here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, big breath in. Exhale, on an inhale, rise. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, big breath in. Exhale, inhale, rise. Number 3, bring your toes closer together so your feet are parallel. Yeah, you can wait till you're at the top. One more breath. Lower down, breath in and out. Here's your last one. Press down, bridge or wheel. Adjust your feet. Gaze on one spot that's easy to look at. One more breath. Lower down, Supta Baddha Konasana. Fantastic work. Feet together, knees out wide. A hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. Organize your breath so that on the inhales you feel your lower hand fill with belly on the inhale and empty on the exhale. Dead bug. Take your feet to the ceiling, grab for the outer edges of your feet or the backs of your thighs. And what'll determine that is that bony part at the bottom of your low back. You want that to be laying on the floor. So wherever you have to reach for that to happen, nice, rock side to side for happy baby if that feels right. Let's move on to the best part of the class, stability, feet in the air. Lower your right leg down halfway. And on your exhales, switch. And on your next exhale, switch. You go with your pace. Pull your lumbar spine down toward the floor. Yeah, and if you notice that it wants to lift as you lower your leg, maybe don't lower it quite so far. Or place a little bit more bend in your knee. Yeah, just that awareness of knowing what's happening in the body. Feet to the ceiling. And let's work with some isometric movements. So bring your knees to 90 degrees, knees stacked right over your hips. Place your palms onto your thighs. And then we're going to pull our thighs toward the face as we press our palms down into the thighs. So we're not moving here, just pressing. You should feel your lowest belly really start to light up. Yeah, press in, pull in, breathe deep. Stay for 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. And let's do that again a little bit differently. So set your knees up at 90 degrees, palms on your thighs, press down, lift your thighs towards your face. And now we're going to take opposite side, opposite side. So your right hand extends, right leg extends. Keep your left hand pressing into your thigh. Yep, and then go for the other side. Keep pressing and then switch. Keep pressing and switch. Those isometric movements really great for strength. That lets our body know, like, hey, in this little range of motion that we're in, we're good. I've got the strength here. For 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees, rock back and forth 3 times, all the way up to boat. Balance on your sit bones, reach all the way toward the front of your mat. Create as long of a spine as you can create here. So how much space can you get from your ribs to your hips? Stay there for 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees, rock back and forth. Right side half pigeon. On your back, on your belly, however you like to set this one up. Keep the right foot flexed. It's going to keep your knee in proper alignment so there's no twisting or rotation. And then let's take our awareness to that back leg, just see what we have going on there. For a lot of us, the heel wants to either kind of fall out or fall in towards center line. Yeah, so extend the toes toward the back of your mat. Or even if you've got the toes tucked here, the heel travels toward the ceiling. Very nice adjustments. Switch sides, left side. Back through a down dog or swing the legs around. Keep the left foot flexed. Find all the length you can in the top half of your body. So if you feel like you're holding yourself up kind of with your elbows here, or there's a little bit of tension between the shoulders, see if you can use an exhale to let that melt. Maybe even taking your fingertips and reaching them even further away past the edge of your mat. And then notice, possibly make adjustments to that back foot. Very nice. 2 more breaths right here. Press yourself up and out. Find frog pose. On your back, maybe with your feet on a wall, plenty of wall space, or with the belly toward the floor. Yeah, I like that. I like to take one knee on like a towel or something that's going to let it slide out. And then create the frog from there. So we'll organize our body so that the feet are flexed, knees are at 90, and then hips are at 90. So in your mind's eye, you could draw a line from one knee to the other, and then your hips sit right there on that line. Now pull the pit of your belly up towards your spine. So we want to lengthen out the low back. Just a few more breaths. Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Notice what's here in this pose to be had. You've got that choice here to surrender to gravity and let it work its magic. Gently make your way back to your mat in whatever way feels good. I still have not found a graceful way to get out of frog pose. Seated single leg extension. So right leg extends long, left leg comes in like tree pose. Sit yourself on the front side of your sit bones. On an inhale, reach up high and then fold from your hip creases. Little or big bend in that front knee, but at least a little bend. We want to create that same feeling here like we do in the standing forward fold. So you're pressing your heel toward the front of your mat like it's pressing into the floor, and pressing your right sit bone toward the back of your mat like you're lifting up toward the ceiling. Release your toes and switch sides. Find your seat. Inhale, reach high, and exhale, fold forward. Again, here, notice that you're sitting on the front side of your sit bones. So it's like you can press the left sitting bone behind you. Seated forward fold. Both legs extended out front, or you can take them out wide, your choice, whatever would feel best. Toes toward the ceiling, whichever way you're taking it. Inhale to lift, and then exhale to fold. At least a little bend in both knees. Nice, and then find your long forward fold spine here. So your pelvis is tilting forward. Nice adjustment. Now reverse the tilt of your pelvis so you've got that ragdoll spine. Keep a hold of your toes. Yeah, so you've got that big C-shaped curve. If your fingers are on your toes, you can press them forward. That's going to give you a nice little stretch all the way up your arms, all across the shoulder girdle. And then release. Tabletop or reverse plank. Soles of your feet on the ground. Lift your hips all the way to the ceiling. Lift your chest all the way to the ceiling. Maybe the head drops back. One big breath here. Lower all the way down. Fish pose. Grab your block. Place it between your shoulder blades. And lay on back like a mermaid. You choose the leg variation, legs out long, maybe Supta Baddha legs. 2 more breaths. Fill up your belly. Roll to your right side to release your props or your elbows. And let's get upside down. Your choice here, if you've got a headstand or handstand practice, take that on. Plenty of wall space to play with. Shoulder stands or waterfalls. Any position here, any pose where you're getting your feet over your hips and maybe the hips over the heart. Those of us in shoulder stand here, take your feet right up to the ceiling. So they're going to be like a plumb line from your toes all the way down to your hips. Yeah, it's going to take any extra pressure you might feel in your neck or your upper back here and place that weight into your hips instead. Shoulder stands move to plow. Bring your toes toward the floor behind you. Maybe they touch. And then plow to Deaf Yogi. Bring your knees down around your ears. A little squeeze. And then roll all the way out onto your mat slowly as you can, one vertebra at a time. And once your back is flat on the floor, knees to center and drop them to your right for a supine twist. Take your arms out wide, gaze to the left. And bring your knees back to center. Take them over to your left. Arms out, gaze to your right. And you've all got a cold eye towel. Feel free to reach for that when you're ready for it. When you feel complete on this side, return to center. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees out wide. Use this moment to set up your Shavasana. So maybe you snuggle your shoulders up underneath of you, get them really flat on the mat. And then extend your arms out long and wide, extend your legs out long and wide. Take your Shavasana. We'll take 2 clearing breaths together right here. Fill up through your nose and let it out through your mouth. And another fill up. Empty. Allow your breath to turn to a more natural pace. And then take on the role of the observer. Just noticing the breath as it moves in and out. Nothing to judge, change, or fix about it. Just to watch it like the waves of the ocean going in and out. When your mind inevitably moves on to something else, simply bring it back. Begin to deepen your breath. And bring little movements back to the body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out your wrists and your ankles. Move your knees and your elbows. And if it feels right, make your way up to a full body stretch. Fingertips one direction, toes in the other. And then hug it all into center. Bring your knees to your forehead, the biggest squeeze that you have received yet today. And then rock it over to your right side, infant's pose. Create your infant's pose so you feel supported by the earth beneath you. Give yourself some gratitude for showing up. Send some gratitude to the yogis around you and those at home for doing the work with you. Press your left hand into the floor to rise to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed or drishti settled right in front of your nose. On an inhale, reach for the ceiling. Nice long spine. Hands at heart center. And we'll end together as we began with 3 ohms. Breath in. Om. 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 Thumb knuckles rise to third eye center. We bow and acknowledge each other. Thank you to each of you for showing up for your practice in an authentic way, and in doing so, allowing the rest of us to do the same. Namaste. Great practice, yogis. Good to have you all. Awesome. Well, any questions, comments, feedback, I am here for it. If you have any questions or looking for more information about the retreats in January, I can help you out with that. And lastly, we have another access cycle starting in April. Watch your eyeballs. So if you've ever even given like a little bit of half a thought to teacher training and you want to know more what it's all about, I am happy to